muted.
We was muted. How about that?
Yeah, so I can just say a little bit.
Right.
So I'm Pamela Selders. I'm the founder of Connecticut Black Women. And tonight is a Connecticut Black Women's event, and it is being co-sponsored by More Monday, and hence we have Bishop John Selders here to assist me on a number of levels. So let me explain what's going on. This is our second um, event where we want to hold space for Black women candidates. Um, we have this is a pop-up event this time, to give everybody an opportunity to continue to do their work. I mean, we know these are the last days, and so we wanted to just have an opportunity for people to, hop in, tell us about themselves, about what they're running for, tell us what they need, and so on and so forth. And we just wanted to be here to give them that opportunity. We have who's going to be working very closely with me, Brittany Yancy, who is a part of the Circle of Connecticut Black Women. Hey, Brittany.
Hey. Good evening, everyone. Nothing is more exciting for me than to come together with Black women, talking about how we build our power, how we help our sisters who are on the run, build them up and support them as they are on their journey. And we hope to be victorious in that. So I'm happy to be here once again, working with Connecticut Black women, being able to bring us to the table, right, and hold space. So happy to be here and very excited about tonight and getting to hear from some of our bold leaders that are already in office, right, setting the tone, but then also meeting the new faces who are on the run and have been doing the work. So very excited.
All right. We want to invite Senator Marilyn Moore to the front. She's right now currently in the green room. We want to bring her forward and have her have words with us.
Good evening.
Good evening.
So first of all, thank you for inviting me and allowing me to be a part of this. I'm here not only as the state senator, but the founder of Elect Black Women in Connecticut Caucus. And we're all on the same page together. It's so important that we align ourselves and fighting for the same things and going for the same goals to make sure more Black women are represented, not only in the state legislature, but also in municipalities. And I always think about people thinking they want to run for higher office when all the real ground game is going on locally. So it's all elections are important, but engaging in all of the elections is important, and making sure we're represented at every levels. That's really important also. So thank you.
Appreciate you being here. Did you want to tell us a little bit about what is it? Elect?
It's Elect Black Women Caucus of Connecticut.
Mm-hmm.
So this was in my spirit for a long time. And, just because it's my idea or I thought of it doesn't mean it's always the right time to do it. And I had started this more than 2 years ago, talking about this with Robin Porter, but we just never came together to figure out what we were going to do. And then when Pat Billy Miller became moved from the House to the Senate, I mentioned it to her and I was like, okay, we got a team. We can start moving this. We filed in early 2021 to be a PAC. And our goal is to build a bench that Black women can come and figure out if you want to run for office, if you don't know what the rules are, if you don't know how to run a campaign, if you need help, we want to be there. And we want to encourage women not to back down, because what you don't know, because it's not written anyplace, right? It's not in writing, because if it was in writing, we might know how to do it. So it's really passed down from other people who've been through it. And we look at what we have in Connecticut. There's 4 Black women in the House. There's 2 Black women in the Senate. For the first time in the history of the legislature, there's 2 Black women in the Senate. It's Senator Miller and it's myself, right? You would think that in the year 2021, we would have higher numbers. But I want to hold up something for you was in Ebony magazine in 1984. This was the conversation. I'll tell you who's on here is Margaret Morton, who ended up being the first Black woman to serve in the Senate, and Carrie Saxton Perry. And I knew them both, right? I knew Carrie because I was in a group called the Best and the Brightest back in the early 80s. And I was trying to figure out, I don't know what she's talking about because I don't know any of this stuff. But this has been a struggle for a long time, an uphill battle for Black women to participate in politics other than doing the work, because we're good at doing the work. We're always called upon when they want to get into the churches, get into the ministries, go into the communities, get into the PACs, get into the parent PACs and stuff. They call on us, but they never call on us when it's time to run for office. And there are a few people who will say, well, that's not true. They called me. Well, they're an anomaly. That's not what traditionally happens. So our intention is to raise money for campaigns, to train Black women how to run, to be unapologetically Black as we do this, and know that our voice is important. And we bring with us so much stuff, good and bad, that we need to be able to deal with and bring it to the table. We don't need anybody else to dilute our stuff or speak on our behalf. So we're working together, all the members of the General Assembly, Representative Walker, Representative Tammy Axum, Stephanie is down in Norwalk, and Robin Porter in New Haven, and Senator Miller and myself. We're all working together to build this organization, to have a place for women to come and learn and support them and raise money for them. Right now, we're fighting really hard for Anya Goldsby, who's in Cromwell, that everybody seems to have forgotten about. And we got this young Black attorney, very smart, a lot of energy fighting, right? And so we want to make sure that when this happens again, we're not chasing, but we're leading, and we're in front of this, getting her everything that she needs, giving her the support that she needs, so people don't take advantage of her because she's new. And that's what happens. They'll take your money, they'll tell you they're doing the work, and at the end of the day, when it's all over, you wonder why you lost, and it's because those people were not doing anything. We want to be on the ground doing that work and making sure, doing a check and balance all the time, making sure Black women have what they need to run. So thank you for that opportunity to share that.
Thank you. Thank you for doing that work.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Wonderful.
Hey, Rep Porter just jumped in, so I just popped her in. Let me give some instructionary words. We have some of our candidates who are in the green room. Hang tight. We see you. You can smile. They can't see you, but we see you. And we're going to bring you in and have this be an interactive conversation. So just hold tight. Rep Thomas, are you on video? All right, I see. We see you too. So we're gonna bring you in a minute. But let's let Rep Porter greet folk.
Good evening, Rep Porter.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you so much, Bishop and First Lady, for doing this. And our Queen Brittany, I see you there, my sister. Thank you all so much for this platform. It is so much needed and so much appreciated. I am humbled to be here with, you all call her Senator Moore, but I call her Queen Moore. And I heard her talking a little bit about what we're doing with Elected Black Women's Caucus. And that is really the strength on which we are operating going forward, unapologetically supporting Black women who want to be in elected office, whether it be local, state, or federal. And the importance of building that bench. So I'm excited, and I'm looking forward to hearing from the women that are currently running and the other women who are currently elected. So I'm gonna keep it short and brief, and let's get on with this, because I really want to hear from our candidates tonight. So thank you again. And it is truly an honor to be with you all. And salute Senator Moore.
Thank you. Thank you, Representative.
Oh.
Okay, so we're going to bring in Representative Thomas.
Yeah, she is here.
Okay.
Rep Thomas, you getting ready, set. Here you come on.
There
John.
I am. There I am. I feel like I should have, I didn't put my rep title. Hi, everyone. Well, thank you for having this. It wasn't so long ago that I was on the candidate side as I finished my 10th month in office. And I'm just excited when I learned about this because it means we do have a bit of a pipeline. And I know when I decided to run, I felt very much alone, especially in my district. So we are here for you. We are here to help develop a pipeline. As Senator Moore said earlier, like, we just need to be out there. We need to be unapologetic. We need the entire breadth of diversity that is the Black woman represented. So I've been really excited to support some of the local candidates. We have a few here in Norwalk. I heard Anya Goldsby mentioned. There are a few others running around the state. So we're here. Use us. We're a resource. My goal is to keep reaching back and get someone else. When I leave this role, I don't want to be the last one for the next, 10, 20 years. So thank you for having us tonight.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you.
So Senator Pat Billy Miller is in the house, and we just got to say, hey, Senator Miller, I'm gonna take you off mute if you just greet folk. This is historic in lots of ways. Your place, along with I'm gonna use Rep Porter's Queen Mother, Marilyn Moore, in this kind of landmark space of being state senators in this state. So anyway, hi,
how are you, Bishop?
And good.
First Lady, how are you? So I just want to say hello, and yeah, I am in a great space right now to be a senator with Marilyn Moore, and having to serve with Robin. Stephanie, didn't get to spend much time with you, Stephanie, but Stephanie is a true sister. And Brittany, my love, Brittany, how are you? So I want to thank you for allowing us this space to join you this evening. And so I'm excited to be a Black woman at this time. I've always enjoyed being a Black woman, right? I love being a Black woman. But at this particular time in history, it means so much more because as a senator, I've been a part of historic policy. And so I am so proud, and I'm proud to be a partner with Senator Moore. In fact, I'm sitting under her wings, right? She is Queen Moore. And so Robin and I have always referred to her as that, and she's always been our leader and our mentor. So again, thank you for allowing us to be here this evening.
Thank you for coming, and thank you for thank you for coming and being here for the candidates. It's very important, I think, for people who are, especially those who are first time running and are in the small townships, by themselves, to know that other Black women in office are rooting for them and supporting them in any way that they need support. So I want to thank you all for showing up for them. Appreciate you. So, and for all of us, as you always do.
We got one of those candidates in one of these small urban settings. Let's bring her on and you talk to us for a moment. We got a mayoral candidate, a Black woman that's running for mayor down there in Cromwell. Talk to us, sis. Talk to us.
Can you guys hear me? Okay, I have you on one device, but I can't hear you from the other one. So I'm trying to multitask, but I'm so excited, Bishop Shelders and First Lady. So good to see you, and it's just beautiful to see some amazing Black faces today. It just is. It's amazing. I'm just so grateful because this, this is a journey that has been unpredictable, I think, in many ways. But I am so glad I have the support of all of you. It's been something that it's honestly just I can't even put it into words. I am so immensely grateful, and it's something that's absolutely needed. Somebody that's a first-time candidate running as a Black woman in a majority white town. I have just faced so many things that I didn't even realize that I would face, and having the support of you all just means the world to me. And it's one of those things, like, I don't think I can really just repay you. This is one of those things, and this is why we have to do what we do, because if we don't have that support, it's going to be difficult. We have to increase the pipeline, and we need to make sure that there are more Black women in spaces and places that look like us, that don't look like us. Black women belong everywhere. So I'm just really excited, and I'm just grateful. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. So, one of the things we were wanting to know is, how are things going for you? What is, if you could say one thing that you really needed support with right now, what would that be?
Sure. So I'm getting a delay. So sorry, I'm listening. And so if I'm behind, that's why. I would say, in terms of how things are going, I think they're going fine. I think they're going as best as they can be. I think one of the things I probably wish I had more support with earlier was door knocking. Everyone said, oh, you just ask the DTC, just get people to volunteer. And I'm out here knocking on doors myself, and volunteers don't show up. And so I think I wasn't anticipating or expecting that. And so sometimes it takes other people to talk to other people. And it wasn't really until I expanded my network that I had some more support. I think we could always use more, because we know those numbers are really critical, and having that voter contact is essential. So I'm really grateful. I had a lot of you guys phone banking, making phone calls for me, and coordinating other people knocking on doors. So I'm really grateful for that. But even just the emotional support. I mean, Pat knows I called her feeling all kinds of things a couple of days ago. Marilyn's been absolutely great. And it's just one of those things, like, you can't talk to anybody else about the feelings that you're feeling as a Black woman in this space. And if you don't have that safe place, so to speak, to speak about those feelings and to really get that out from other candidates that have been in that similar place, it's going to be really difficult. And so had some hard times, but God is with me the entire time. And so I'm blessed, and I'm excited to see what happens at the end of this.
Wonderful.
Absolutely.
Wonderful.
Great.
What thank you. We are with you. Cromwell, y'all need to come out and support a sister. Let's just shout y'all out.
Yes.
And get on in the game, y'all. Get on in the game. You can't complain about it. You can't critique it. You can't talk about it if you ain't registered to vote, and then go to the polls and vote. That's my 2 cents.
Yes,
I'm sorry. I'm
absolutely.
a male in the book. Let me shut it.
Can I just interject something here? Anya, this is her first time running, and I ran for mayor in Bridgeport, and you don't know what you don't know until you get into it, right? You just don't. You can't even imagine what it's like to run in an office and try and break barriers that nobody else has tried to do before, right? And so there's never too much money that she can have to pay for people on the ground, right? There's never too many phone calls. There's never too many knocking on doors, right? And so, Anya, I think you should share where people can call if they want to volunteer. We have volunteers covering her on election day, standing at the poll. This is a unique place. There's only one polling place, and it's the high school in Cromwell. So that's we're covering that.
Wow.
But she still can have help, needs help. Right up until 8 p.m., there needs to be people pulling people out, making phone calls, just never stopping to make sure her voters are at the polls, because you never want to look back on woulda, shoulda, coulda. And she doesn't even know what to look back on, right? Because this is her first time running. So I'm going to be her strong mouthpiece to say, if there's anybody out there that can give her 2 hours, I did some phone calls yesterday with Representative Thomas and our friend Julie Marr. We were on the phones making phone calls. It's a difficult task, right? But it has to be done. If you're going to win, it has to be done. So anybody who's listening, or if you're going to play this tomorrow, let people know she's going to need help right up until the polls close tomorrow. And Anya, you want to tell them how they can get in touch with your person?
Sure. Again, sorry for the delay. So yeah, if you guys do want to either phone bank or assist in any way, my website is goldsby4mayor.com. You can also shoot my team an email. So goldsby4mayor@gmail.com. So that's GOLDSBY 4mayor@gmail.com. So I really appreciate it. We're in the final stretch, and we're going to just keep going until the end. And again, I appreciate all of you. So thank you so much.
Thank you, sister.
Thank you, sister.
All right.
Appreciate you.
We're gonna get some other people in here. Sister Veronica. You are live, Sister Veronica. Hey.
Hi, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Thank you for putting this together and having everyone on. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Hi, Veronica. So I'm just gonna say this. We have
Uh-oh.
Well, we have some candidates that are trying to get in. So please, after I state this, you can remove me because I don't want to hold up space if we can bring them on. First, I just want to say to our legislators, I just absolutely love all of you. Certainly so wonderful to just be in space with you. The leadership, your heart, the passion that you have for building Black women's power is just so felt. And so I just want to thank you and just thank you for being here. Veronica, you have been such a champion, just on the front line, on the ground, as a woman who is committed to building the power as well. And we would just like for you to just talk about your journey and what you've experienced and how you feel that we can further build Black women's political power.
Well, first, thank you, Brittany, and thank you, Bishop and First Lady Selders, for putting this together and for having me. I actually do not want to take up too much space and time because there are women whose names are on the ballot that need the time and attention because election is 2 days away. My name is not on the ballot. I will want to do what I can to support those women whose names are on the ballot who are running, whether it's in Cromwell, whether it's in Stratford, whether it's in Hampden, whether it's in Bloomfield, whether it's wherever, Vernon, New Britain, where I live. Obviously, I'm forgetting my own city. But there are a lot of races and there are a number of Black women who are running this year, which is amazing. And, one thing I'll just say real quickly is that, when people are continuously underestimate us. They underestimate our power, our connections, our relationships. When we come to the table, we bring our entire community to the table. We are connected with our community through our churches. We are connected in our community through our organizations that we are involved in, through our family members, through the people who know us on the corner, the businesses that are in the neighborhood. So we have so many connections and relationships that we can tap into that can support us, that I think we just can never be underestimated. And that unfortunately, oftentimes that does happen. But as long as we work together collectively to build each other up and support each other by phone banking, door knocking, donating, by any means necessary, however and how often you can, that's what we can do. We have to show up and show out because we can't depend and wait on anybody else to do it. And I have seen that and witnessed that myself, that I can't wait for somebody else, whether it's the DTC or whomever, that as our future mayor at Cromwell said, she was out there doing it. Sometimes we have to lead by example, and they have to see that we're in it to win it, and we're serious. So I just think that at the end of the day, Black women, as I said on a Facebook post, we've been the backbone of democracy for too long and have helped to ensure equal rights for everybody. And it's time that people put their time and effort and support behind Black women.
Thank you.
Thank you very much,
Ms.
Sister
Veronica.
Veronica.
Thank you for that word. As you always bring a good word. All of you always bring a good word. So I I know I'm gonna walk away from here renewed because I missed church this morning. So thank you for that. We have several candidates that are trying to get in. So please, I'm going to step back. But again, I'm just so excited about tonight. And thank you everyone for coming.
So we have a couple of folk who are running for office in. Sister Adrian is here. Let's drop her in this conversation. West Hartford, right? West Hartford is in the house. Ain't that the truth? Am I
Yes,
calling
sir.
it right? All right. Greet us and tell us how we can be of support and help to you in your campaign.
Good evening, everyone. We're towards the end now. We have Tuesday coming up. I am Adrian Billings-Smith, and I am running in West Hartford for town council. It's been a good ride so far. I've been very blessed with the support here in West Hartford. But what support? I mean, people need to get out and vote. At the end of the day, we need to be at the table. We need our people to get out and vote and see that, we want to do things that help empower our community, help empower our people, between education and healthcare and affordable housing and those things. We want to be there and we want to do those things. We want to make sure, we have in West Hartford, just recently, we have our civilian police review board that I was selected to be on to make sure that we're holding our police accountable in West Hartford and having those community relations. So, at the end of the day, we need to vote. And we need to show that we have the power and the voice to be there. Because at times they don't reach out to Black and brown folks to vote because they don't think they're the ones voting or they can't. But if you don't reach out to them, what would they vote for? Who would they vote for? So, showing that power in numbers is what, I believe in right now. And thank you so much for having me here tonight. Thank you for inviting me.
Adrian, is there can you share your website, your link if those want to come, to join you in the final days for phone banking, to give you a donation, to join you in door knocking? Please share your materials. If you want to share it in the chat or if you want to just share it live here.
I just shared it in the chat. It's ACE for West Hartford, ACE for WH.com. You can find me the same way on Facebook. Tomorrow, I will just be out canvassing, last minute lit drops and trying to prepare for Tuesday, being out at the polls, making sure people are seeing my face, and knowing that, my particular team is a team that needs to be voted into office for West Hartford. So, I would love for folks to come out if you want to hold a sign, if you have time during the day to hold a sign, if you drop your email, or I will put my email in here also. Then I will send you a link. We have, 9 districts, 9 polling places for people to stand out on and hold those signs. So that we will get assigned to you, and we would love to have you there to support for sure.
Thank you. And for those of you who are with us, there are 2 functions of chats. So if you see one that says comments, if you want to talk to the audience, you can do it through that function, right?
Absolutely.
The other is the function for us here and those of us in the green room.
Gotcha.
All right. So, and that's been helpful. So I've been doing double duty. So if I'm a little slow on the go, I'm trying to do a little couple of things over here. You know, I'm of an age now. I'm a little, you know, I'm trying to keep up. That's what I just say.
Appreciate you. Appreciate all of you. And all the work that everyone, you know, that I was listening when I got let in, all the work that you guys have been doing, it's appreciated. And I agree, you know, we can't wait for people to allow us to be at the table. We have to make those moves ourselves. And as I tell people, my foot in the door is somebody else's body in the door. And that's what you guys have done so far, you know, and I want to continue that journey.
And also, if you could say your email, if you know it, and website,
yes,
for those who don't have access to any chats.
Got you. Website is www.ace4wh.com, and my email is info@ace4wh.com, and you can send me an email, and I will get it and definitely respond and timely. You know, we don't have much time. Oh, you know, Tuesday is here.
Yes, and just to also let everybody know, this is being recorded, so you'll have opportunity to take it and share it over and over. You know, people will see what it is that you need, see your information.
Awesome. Thank you all so much for having me.
Sure, sure. Sister Glenda, get ready. Sister Glenda, you bring an interesting perspective. And why don't we let our Sister Brittany introduce you to the conversation. Thank you, Sister Adrian.
Thank you.
We
so
with
much.
you. Power
Thank
to the
you
Black
so
people.
much.
To Black women in particular. Amen.
Thank y'all. Thank y'all. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. You guys have a great one.
You too.
Take care.
Good evening. This is none other than the Glenda Carr. She is the co-founder for Higher Heights for America, and she is the CEO of Higher Heights. And I'm representing Glenda. I have my Black Women Lead shirt on. We're representing, right? Because that's what we do. That's what we do. We lead on the front line, and Higher Heights is building power, standing in the gap, supporting Black women all across this country. And she actually just got back from Virginia, supporting our candidate down there who is running for Lieutenant Governor, Hala Ayala. And Glenda, we just want to hear from you. We want you to give us that kind of global, national perspective about why Black women need to run for office. What are the strategies that we can do to support Black women? And whatever highlights you like to share with us. We know that Higher Heights works with the Center for American Women in Politics at Rutgers University. And so I know that the reports that you all issue are just so critical for us to understand. So I'm going to toss it over to you to just share with us what we need to know in terms of building Black women's power.
Well, thank you, Professor. I thought you were going to take all my talk points when you started to talk about the report. So thank you for inviting me to participate in my home state conversation around electing Black women. Many of you may be aware I was born, raised, went to school, and left here and have come back temporarily. Brittany, I don't know. I've been here for a minute. But, you know, early on, I knew that Black women were leaders. They were my, my mother, grandmother, and great grandmother who were rooted in activism here in Connecticut, in the Hartford area. Very early on, I knew Black women, were leaders because, my home city mayor was Karen Saxon Perry. And certainly, my beginnings as a Black woman who leads started right here at 681 Garden Street in Hartford, Connecticut. And so I always enjoy having the opportunity to come virtually or in person to talk about the amazing Black women across this country. As Brittany mentioned, I'm a co-founder of Higher Heights, the political home for Black women. And our organization wouldn't be where it is today if it wasn't for Black women in Connecticut, from our elected Black women to our founding members like Brittany Yancy, and the hundreds of Black women across the state that help us build a growing chorus of Black women helping to elect Black women across this country. We support Black women running for office on the federal level, statewide executive and mayors in top 100 cities. We chose those levels over the last 10 years because they're the greatest opportunities and greatest challenges. But Black women have been leading from the local elections all the way up to the White House. And the work we do with the Center for American Women in Politics actually show that Black women, yes, continue to have face barriers when running for office. Those three barriers are the challenges of raising money and raising early money. And so certainly if you're watching this, even with 2 days left to the election, open up your wallet and pocketbook and invest in a Black woman that inspires you. And that could be $3 to whatever the limits are in that election. Every dollar counts. Black women continue to face challenges around electability, being coined that we're not electable, that we're not viable. And so conversations like this tonight are important because not only it shows the viabilities of our candidacies, it shows that with less money, less political party infrastructure support and institutional support, Black women will take that dollar that you support her with and run the baddest, strongest campaigns. And more importantly, it's not just about electing Black women for Black women's sake. When they are elected, they lead boldly, like the women, like the senators and the state reps here today. They put forth policies that center Black women, our families, and our communities. But more importantly, when Black women lead, they actually lead in a way that transforms every single resident in Connecticut and frankly, in the nation. We did just release our status of Black women in American politics. We've been doing this report since 2014. This year it's called Reach Higher. Each year we see a record number. Each year you will hear Higher Heights say there's a record number of Black women running for office. And guess what? This year we have a record number of Black women running for office from the local level to the national level. And we're stepping into a season 2022 where we're looking to break barriers. We've never elected a Black woman governor in this country. And there's 5 Black women currently running. The work now is, what does 2030 look like for Black women in American democracy? And I certainly believe that we see a Black woman as a governor of Connecticut. We could have a Black woman as a U.S. senator from Connecticut. The possibilities are endless. It's not only electing Black women for the first time for city halls and state legislatures and mayors across this city, the state, it is also supporting their leadership so that they have opportunities to be in leadership in their respective legislative bodies. And if they want to run for higher office, that we're preparing them to run for higher office. The longest serving Black woman to ever serve in statewide office hails from Connecticut. It's Denise Napier. We've only had 17 Black women serve in statewide executive offices across this country. Only 6 serve right now. And Denise, as I said, was the longest serving Black woman to serve in that role. So there's work to be done, ladies. And there's certainly work to be done over the next 2 days. We need to make phone calls. We need to text. We need to tweet. We need to TikTok. We need to Facebook for those in an age bracket like I Facebook, and amplify the leadership of the women running for office. And then the day after the election, we need to prepare to help these women govern. As the Senator Moore said earlier, it is hard to serve in these legislative bodies that weren't built for us. They were built by us, but they weren't built for us. And so that's the work moving forward, to ensure that we are creating the environment for Black women to not only vote, run, but more importantly, lead this state and this country to higher heights.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Powerful.
I know, so powerful, right, Pamela? I mean, honestly, again, speaker after speaker, again, my heart is just so full right now.
Yes.
Glenda, thank you for the work that you do, how you are not just talking about it, but you're doing it. You're out there in the streets, you're preparing women, generations of women to lead across this country at every level. So we thank you for all the work that Higher Heights do. We're very excited about what we see right now with Black women in Connecticut and the collaboration and the unity that we see of us coming together in spaces like this and really talking about it and building the strategies that we need to push people forward. And we recognize that We have 2 days, right? So whatever you can do, please do it. But then to your point, right, we know that once they are in office, we need to continue to support, continuing to champion them in all the ways that you just shared. So thank you so much for all you do. Thank you for popping in. We know you have had a full weekend. You had your Black Women in Action weekend in Virginia. So we just thank you for coming through and just blessing us with that. And I will turn it back over to Pamela. Thank you, Glenda.
Thank you.
Thanks again.
Thank you,
Glenda.
Sister
Thank
Glenda.
you. Thank
Whatever
you.
we can do,
Appreciate you.
we there. We have one of our sisters who for a number of years has been just doing the work kind of quietly in her neck of the woods. But Sister Pamela Floyd
very
Cranford,
effectively.
she's been a leader out in Manchester. Y'all forgive me. It's late. I've been working all weekend. It's been tough, and the leader in Manchester has been our Sister Pamela. Would you just greet folk? I'm gonna add you, Pamela, and just say hello to the folk. Uh-oh, she just went away. The technology it'll work for you until it don't.
Is she frozen?
No, she gone.
It
done dropped. So as soon as she come back, we're gonna get Pamela in. We have two candidates who are running for a school board. And Pamela and I's, Hartford is not our hometown, but it's the town we live in. Y'all forgive us.
Almost 22 years.
So forgive us. Hartford is where we live. And so let's pull them into this conversation. Politics, somebody said, is local. And here are two folk doing the work. Coming in here, come on in the room. Hartford, come on in the room. Greet the folk, sisters.
Good evening. My name is Shantae Brody. I am running for re-election in Hartford. I currently serve as the first vice chair, Hartford Board of Education. I am endorsed by the Work and Families Party, and I am honored to be here this evening.
Good evening.
Technology will do for you, and then it won't. Pamela, you here? I see you. Say hello to the folk, Pamela.
Hi, can you see me?
Yes.
Okay. Hi, I apologize for that. It looked like it kicked me out for a moment. My name is Francoise Darestelle Ledger, and I am running for a seat on the Hartford Board of Education. I'm endorsed by the Democratic Party, and there are 3 of us on our slate, and I'm glad to be here. I am also the chair of the Education Committee for the Greater Hartford branch of the NAACP. And I am also an educator and a lifelong native member of Hartford, City of Hartford. And I'm also the secretary of the Democratic Town Committee.
Okay.
So you're involved at on the ground. So we should probably do just a little bit of talking about how that all works because many people who are not engaged don't know town committee, and how that connects to the party. So you want to take a stab at this, just to share what that all means in relationship to how candidates are actually placed on the ballot.
Okay, so the Democratic Town Committee pretty much will can endorse up to 3 candidates. And if, however many seats there are open, but we have up to 3. And so there are individuals from all over. Anyone can submit their resume to the Democratic Town Committee, and it'll be for review, and anyone can interview. So as long as you are a registered Democrat, you can switch parties and become a Democrat if you'd like to be endorsed by the Democratic Party. And after the interview process, a few weeks will go by, and then there's a convention. So at the convention, which usually takes place at City Hall, a group, the whole Democratic Party, all of the different districts will come together and they will vote. Someone will nominate whoever is running for a seat on the Board of Education. And these individuals will, either accept the nomination or decline, most likely accept. And then they start with the voting. So I think the magic number is 41. So as long as you have more than 41 votes, then you're pretty much you're safe. But it can go either way. So it's important to make phone calls. It's important to reach out to individuals and, introduce yourself so that you can let them know why they should vote for you or endorse you to have a seat on the Board of Ed.
Thank you. Can you give us your information? How can people contact you so that you can let them know what your needs are to support you in these last couple of days?
Okay, so I can give my cell phone number. My cell phone number is 860-883-6244. I am in Hartford. My email address is lfran, F-R-A-N, yoga, Y-O-G-A, the numeral 1, @gmail.com. That's my email. And I'm also a yoga teacher and mindfulness coach. So.
Very cool. Thank you. Shantae, can you give us your information?
Yes, my email is Shantae for Hartford BOE @gmail.com. My phone number 860-420-2901. And if anyone is looking to help, definitely help at the polls on Tuesday and phone banking.
Thank you so much.
Thank you all both for coming.
Yes.
And we support your candidacy and your ability to do what it is that you believe you can to help other peoples. If I was at church, that would be an amen right there.
Amen.
I'm not at church.
Amen. Thank you so much.
Thank you all. Thank you very much.
Thank you for the invite.
Thank you. Have a good night.
All right.
Have a good night too.
Sister Pamela, we're going to bring you back. We're bringing you back in. Go ahead, Sister Pamela. You just start talking. Yes.
Yes.
You should turn one off. Turn. I understand. So talk to us on the one that can show us.
So the makeup term, we're going off in the bathroom.
We're gonna get Pamela on this thing. We're gonna
she might be having.
While you're waiting for her, can I just mention that I put it in the chat? You mentioned town committees, and that is the root. The town committees are the root for everything, right? Mm-hmm. That's where they select the candidates that they're going to endorse for federal, for state, for municipal, for everything. So that race comes up every 2 years, and I think it's in March. Those races are very important also. And we sleep those because they don't advertise them to keep people in power all the time, to be empowered, to name who they are. This year, whoever is on town committee will be selecting who runs for governor, all the statewide offices, the General Assembly, governor, lieutenant governor, secretary of state. Next year is the year that they'll all be elected. So people who are sitting on town committees next year will be holding very powerful positions. And it's not something we pass by. We want to be involved in those races also, because that is where they select everybody for the future, for mayors and everything else. So we need to get on board with that also.
Thank you for bringing that up, Senator. Can you kind of just speak specifically to how to go about that? Where would someone start to even get involved in that? Because I think you're right in terms of just how critical the town committee plays in these races too. Can you speak a little more about that?
Certainly. And, you know, they perpetuate what they do by holding on to those town committee seats. I met a gentleman who told me he had been on town committee for over 45 years, right? His brag was he had held the seat, but he had never really done anything except for toe the line and move forward every single year. I told him, you actually should be ashamed of yourself that you're bragging that you've been on it 40 years in Bridgeport and looking at Bridgeport's landscape. But right now, right after this election is over, you should be looking in your communities to see who you could build a team with to run for town committee. And so in Bridgeport, it's 9 to a town committee. I don't know if it's different in every city depending on population, but each district has 9 seats, right? So like for the 132nd district, there's 9 people who can run as Dems. And they get a petition, right? Whoever gets a petition gets to go on the ballot, right? And then the election takes place in March. Those people get elected. And when you get ready to go into caucuses for mayor or for city council, those people sit down, interview people, and select who's going to run. So if it's the same people always getting on town committees, they're always going to put in the same people. Right? But we all have an opportunity to run for town committee by filing with your local office and getting the petitions, getting them signed. And very few people vote in town committee races because they don't know what's taking place. It's not really something that's advertised. But anybody who's a registered Democrat could put together a team of I believe it's 9 people for us. I don't know what it is in other cities, as I said, and run a slate for town committee in their district.
And if I could just add quickly, and it is different in each town. So like we have 11 people per district, but I would encourage anyone who's interested to start going to their town committee meetings. You need to understand the process. You need to understand who's who. You need to understand if you have a shot of winning. But to Senator Moore's point, what often will happen, some people will collaborate and create a slate and bring out enough voters. But in some towns, it's an incredibly small turnout. The first term I got elected to town committee, 7 people came out to vote. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And in a big year in Norwalk, it's like 35 people. So definitely look into it, start going to the meetings, because once other members know you, you have a better shot.
So I just want to speak for where I live. Meetings are not announced. So you can't go to a meeting that you don't know about. We don't have a website. The information is only on the Secretary of State about when to run. And that's a great place to go look at the Secretary of State to see what the rules are, because you won't normally find them locally. But that's interesting that 7 people, boy, I could have had just my family come out and vote for me, Stephanie, to get me on. That's amazing. But see, that's because people don't understand what happens and how people get to be where they are. And I want to say that I think being on town committee is a very powerful place. When you get to select who you're going to support for governor, who you're going to endorse, those are very powerful positions. And for me in Bridgeport, I've never been the endorsed candidate out of the Democratic Party. And this is my 4th time running. So, you know, it's a great thing to have because then you don't have to worry about support. And those are the people who are supposed to help you raise money when you're running, give you that support that Anya needs and knocking on doors. That's really what the town committees should be about, supporting their candidates financially and with bodies on the ground, standing outside the polls, pushing for them. So there's a lot of opportunities if you get on town committee to really help good candidates.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Senator and Rep. Thomas. This is the reason I wanted you all to talk a little bit about this process, because we actually don't know the process. For example, the town committees also order the ballots. Who's first on the line? Who's second on the line? Something as simple as that actually is, in some races, is the win or break. You lose just because people don't even recognize your name at the top or where you are ordered on the ballot. So town committees are very important. And here in Connecticut, the idea of the community town hall, the politics as local is the thing that actually, we can't say enough about. I'm gonna shut up.
I think it would be great if we work collectively with Higher Heights and what you're doing, Sister Selders, and what we're doing as elected Black women, and do some united stuff so people can see we're not fragmented, right? And we're not broken. We're working together all over the state to make these changes. And I think there's enough of us who are truly invested in getting this done that we could have great impact on Black women stepping up to actually get elected at every level. And I would say that one of the first things we should do after this November election, we need to hit the ground running the day after and start preparing for those town committee. And maybe it's a matter of having the Secretary of State, while she's still here, Denise Merrill, to come in and talk legally, not hearsay, about town committees, how they work and how they run, right? And then direct them to the website might be a great idea. I know that in my own personal experience, when I tried to run, I couldn't figure out anything, didn't get the information, even at the town committee meeting. And Senator Gomes sued our town committee to get on because they never gave him the paperwork at the end of the night that he needed to sign, gave it to him after the deadline and said, oh, we forgot to give it to you. We didn't even know about the paperwork that needed to be signed. We thought the town chair was taking care of it, but that didn't happen. The candidate has a responsibility for getting that. So there's all these small pieces that happen that keep you out of the game, and you have to get an attorney. Luckily, Senator Gomes broke all kinds of records taking this party to court, because every time he tried to do something the right way, they backdoored him and did something wrong. So he set the stage in suing the state and the Secretary of State and the town committee to get on the ballot. And he won. And he won every single time because he was doing the right thing, but didn't have all the information that they withheld from him. So I would suggest we start doing something right away and educating people of how to get on town committee and then how to run for office. And I think it's important that we really come on and work together as different organizations with the same goals, and it would just strengthen us.
I 100% agree. I think definitely hitting the ground, convening ourselves right after the election, I think will prepare us not only for 2022, but going forward. I definitely jotted down when you were speaking earlier, Senator, about the trainings, because I think that has to be part of our process. That I know, there's a lot of Black women who are prepared, who are interested, they have the idea of it, but probably not sure of the process, right? And all of this is kind of cryptic, as you talked about, about the small pieces that sometimes we don't get informed about, right? I have been on the sidelines of a couple campaigns over the last couple of years, and the games that are played, right? The little small pieces, the kind of backdoor politics that takes place undermines, right? Some of the women of color who have stepped forward. And I just think as well prepared that we can be and informed that we can be about how it works in Connecticut, I think can only build and strengthen us. And so I certainly think a good convening, some trainings, in the aftermath of the election is certainly a bold next step.
And Brittany, the one thing that I just wanted to add something to that, because education is the key, and Senator Moore hit on it. And I think the thing that we really got to hone in on as well when we talk about training and education is making sure that we have the whole kit and caboodle in place, because this is a grassroots ground game. And they do block us out. They do create barriers. You know, we like to say the system is broken. It's not. It's designed to do what it's doing. And we got to make sure that when Black women are running for office, they have good campaign managers. They have a field director. They have a photographer. They have someone that can do their social media. You know, like there's this entire kit and caboodle that goes with it. And you can count them on one hand, less than 5 fingers, who we can go to do this work for us. So I think it is critically important that we establish our own, right, boot camp, so to speak, because we have that lived experience, like Senator Moore said, in Bridgeport and in other places. It is not advertised. People don't know when DTC meetings are happening. We need to school people on what it is, and then how they find out, and then how they show up. And they show up ready. They show up prepared, because that's the other thing. We're always getting ready. We are talking about creating an environment, you know, in a ground game that has women ready to go. We need, and it is about building the bench. We have to build a bench. And we should be running for every single office that there is in this state. Not what they tell us we can have, but what we know we can have. And that's anything that we want. So I just wanted to add that. Thank you.
Thank you. Absolutely. I totally agree. And I just wanted to say what that does, you know, what unity does, and unity among Black people in New England in particular, which is, I call, a state of individuals, you know, and it's about a isolation and aloneness. That's a kind of a theme I have found here. And so coming together, working together becomes a countercultural piece. And it is something that is extremely powerful. We know in politics that if like 1 or 2 people show up, they represent at least 10 more than that. You know, so if we come together with our groups as Black women, unapologetically Black, and work together and build together and stand together in this place that doesn't promote that. In fact, it does just the opposite. I just think that act alone will change so much. So I'm totally in agreement with us working together. And yes, it is a ground game, Rep. Porter. It is a grassroots thing. It is about the people power, because we know Black people, we need money, and we can give money, and we can have more money, but we can also have the people power. So I think that is just extremely important. I'm for it.
So Sister Wanda Simmons is here. I just want to acknowledge she is here. Another Bridgeport candidate. Isn't that right, Senator Moore? And her device is not connected. But I want to say that she accepted the invitation to be here, and she is here. And if you would connect, Sister Wanda, your device, then we could get you in, either the audio or the video. And Sister Pamela, you know we love you. And Manchester has an interesting history and track record. And here's a trailblazer in her own right, there in Manchester, Connecticut, doing the work. They don't have a town committee. I'm sorry, not a town committee. They don't have a town council. They have a board of directors. So here's another piece of this puzzle, is that each town gets to do their own thing. They get to call their governing bodies differently, and they do all kinds of tricks around that to keep you off guard, and only the folk that's in actually get to know what those are. So the more we are informed, the better we are.
And as she's connecting, I just want to say, I think Suzette DeBeathan Brown is trying to get on. I don't know if you see her in the green room, but I think I'll let her know. Hopefully she's able to pop up shortly. I know she's trying to connect.
Okay, I don't see her in the green room. So if she needs some support, or you can help her. All right. And I know, Pamela, you want to talk. So just, you know what? Just click your video on and start talking. And don't worry about the delay. Just turn everything else off and just talk to the camera. We'll hear you.
Okay.
Just talk. So Pamela, we see you. If you just type in the chat, and I'll be your mouthpiece. All right.
So basically, I wanted to say, Bishop and Lady Pamela. It's okay. It's okay.
And I know what you're dealing with. You're dealing with the delay of the two devices and what's happening. That's okay. Vote for Pamela Cranford. I guess I shouldn't endorse candidate. Go to the polls, and if you like what she does, then y'all know what I'm saying.
What is she running for, Bishop?
She is running for what they call the board of directors in Manchester, which is their town council. And she's an incumbent. She's been on town council for a number of terms, and she's been grassroots. We've been out there supporting her. Lord have mercy. And it's been a tough way to go. And she's brought people along. And so she's been supportive of other Black candidates and other of color candidates. And so
the entire time. Mm-hmm.
So it's good to see you, Sister Pamela, and we're praying for you and supporting you and cheering you on. We have another candidate that has just jumped on. Two other candidates. One is Dr. Khan. We're going to bring you into this conversation.
Hello, how's everyone doing?
Hi, how are you?
Okay, hello, my sisters and brothers.
Hello.
Thank you for the opportunity to be here.
Thank you for being here. And tell us a little bit about your campaign and how we can be of support and help. This is the dog days. This is it. We coming on to the finish. So how can we help you?
Well, I've been working very hard here in Stratford, and what I need for tomorrow and Tuesday, foot on the ground and phone calls. And if I can have those two items, that would really help me get to the finish line and turn Stratford blue. So foot on the ground, phone calls tomorrow, foot on the ground, and phone calls on Tuesday.
Great. Do you have your, can you share with us your information, email addresses, and all the things?
Absolutely. So the best way for folks, I would say, to reach me is via my cell phone, which is 203-521-2750, 203-521-2750. They can also check out my website, www.immaculatecan.com, www.immaculatecan.com. And but the best way to reach me is via cell phone. I can share the link of whatever link that they need and phone numbers of my field directors and all the details, to get folks to help me.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you.
Dr. Ken, we're so excited about your pursuit, about your campaign. When you launched, we were just excited to see someone stepping forward in Stratford. So for those who may be on here, or those, as we will share this video, it's being recorded, who may be in Stratford, what do you want to say to the people who may, again, you have ran a robust campaign. I will give you that. But if there's just perhaps one person who didn't get the message, what do you want to say to them?
Well, we have many problems in Stratford. In 2017, when this mayor ran, we had problems of taxes and economic development. 2021, we still have problems with high taxes and lack of economic development in Stratford. But in addition to that, we are considered a distressed municipality. High unemployment, poverty, our children not having the ability to finish high school and following through, and our grand list has shrunk tremendously. So I've been spending a lot of time engaging with the community, informing them that we're a distressed municipality, and I have the plan for us to turn Stratford around. We have a mayor that talks about transparency, but however, there's really nothing transparent about our state of affairs here. Folks don't know that we're getting approximately $26 million from Biden. Many communities did a survey to find out how their money should be utilized, but why not Stratford? That didn't occur. They didn't even know. And the worst thing is that some of the money, about $10 million, my understanding, has been allocated for her projects, but no one really knows what those particular projects are. The mayor utilized $4 million to address the issue of distressed municipality. She used the $4 million to balance the budget. It really just overall shows a lack of leadership and ability for her to lead Stratford. Instead of Stratford moving in the right direction, Stratford is moving in the wrong directions. We've had plenty of opportunities to have good businesses come into Stratford, and she has not capitalized on that. And instead, what we have dollar stores, we have storage facilities, and we have auto parts stores. So when people think of Stratford, they don't think of Stratford as a place of destination, which Stratford is a gem. We opened our first our African American museum yesterday, so that is really exciting. So we are making history in Stratford, and I will make history on Tuesday as the first African American female lead Stratford, and that is really exciting. So I'm asking everyone, help me make history. There's really, our community is about 40% minority, approximately 40% minority. But when you look at the people who are at the table, it is nothing of a reflection of what our community looks like. And that's part of my platform, is addressing equity in Stratford. I have to say to folks, this is a critical election because Stratford is known for gerrymandering. And that's why for 18 years, Republicans have been the individuals running Stratford, is because of the issue of gerrymandering. So we're coming up to do redistrict. We need to have a fair redistrict process, and for everyone's voice to be heard in Stratford, and including, the voices of people who are on and who are my minorities. So that's imperative, and I'm asking everyone to please vote, and so that whether you're old, you're young, whether if you're female or male or minority or different cultural descent, that all your voices are heard at the table. So everyone, please come out and vote, and please help my campaign, and please help me get foot on the ground tomorrow and make phone calls, and also foot on the ground and make phone calls on Tuesday.
Thank you.
Your candidacy is important, and let's throw it to the mayor of Bloomfield, who's done gone down this road a time or two, and is doing a fabulous job. Mayor Suzette, if you would greet the folk and say whatever you need to say.
Hello, Suzette. I've heard so much about you. Amazing
Hello.
things about you. I'm so happy to meet you.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much. I'm
Yes.
happy to meet you. I'm happy to see a bunch of strong individuals, a bunch of strong Black women here on this platform on this evening. Thank you for your trailblazing. Thank you for your leadership. Thank you for your support. It helps.
It does. It does. It absolutely does.
It helps.
And I will be meeting with you after I win on Tuesday so that you can give me some do's and don'ts and provide some guidance and help me. I'm looking forward to meeting with you.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Thank you.
We don't get here by ourselves. We don't stay here by ourselves. And if we don't help each other, oof, we are definitely going to we're definitely going to fail. Right?
Absolutely.
So,
You know, and it's funny you said that because, you know, right now in Stratford, one of the key things that's really coming out is under the Republican leadership for 18 years, it's been to Stratford. It's been the South End, which is primarily more African Americans and minority individuals living in the South End, and the North End, you know, which is the opposite. And you look at the how the two areas have been treated, you can see the inequities between the two areas. And we should have one Stratford. And that message is really resonating with people. And even with the taxes that went up, it went up into heavily Democratic districts who were really hit the hardest. And actually two of the areas that got a tax break were areas of more affluent and wealthy areas. So the inequities in Stratford is just it's a major problem. And the more and then when we do this to our constituents and we do this to our community, it really creates a lot of distension and it's not good. So if the mayor is going to talk about unity, then it's you need just not talk the talk, but you need to walk the walk. And that's the mayor that I am. I just don't talk the talk. I walk the walk.
absolutely.
All righty. Thank you. Thank you. And Stratford has got somebody coming.
Yes.
There is a change gonna come.
Yes, absolutely. Change or more of the same.
All right.
Thank you again for the opportunity. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right. Have a good night, my brothers and sisters.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Madam Mayor.
Yes, sir.
What you got to say to us?
So I'm sorry, I've been trying to get in and plug in and try to hear and multitask. I am the proud mayor of the town of Bloomfield, the first Black female mayor of the town of Bloomfield. Bloomfield is an amazing town. It's the nicest town in the state of Connecticut per Reader's Digest 2020. I will tout that. But our form of government is a little bit different. We are a town council, town manager form of government. And we run for town council. And historically, it's the highest vote getter that becomes the mayor. So that's how we do here. It's difficult because Bloomfield is usually led by a male, right? So over the last 4 years, it's been a little bit challenging. You have the naysayers. You have those who want to tell your story the way they want to tell it, that benefits them. So politics is real. It's a real thing. And people play those games when they feel like they're losing control or they feel like they can't control you. The hard thing in this arena is getting out factual information, because some people just like to be told and they will take whatever it is that they're told, and it's not necessarily true. So here we are in this arena, in this space where it's another election, and you need help, period. You know, you need people who are on your side to make phone calls. You need people who are on your side to knock on doors, to talk to people that they know. You need people who are on your side just to poll stand. Or, you know, it's Brittany just checking in. Sis, are you okay? Is there anything I can do for you? Or it's State Representative Stephanie Thomas and State Rep Porter that says, you know what, we come in a door knock. That's what we gonna do. So things like that helps. It helps when it's a male dominated ticket. We are on row A as Democrats. There's only 2 females on row A this term. Whether it's Republicans or Democrats, it's only 2 of us. So the support is important. The encouragement is important. Understanding that you're not by yourself. Understanding that while they're trying to tear down and undermine, that there's people out there building you up and sustaining you. That's important for me, a Black woman, an incumbent, right? This is not my first rodeo. I've been mayor now for 4 years, but it feels like a different kind of fight. It feels like a nastier fight. And for me, encouragement is what I need because you can get weighed down and bogged down. So yes, the election is Tuesday. And if we can get people to poll stand, to make phone calls, to reach out to the people that they know would be helpful.
Madam Mayor, how can folks support you? You got an email or Facebook, you know, social media platform or website?
Yep, I am on social media. It's Suzette DeBeetham Brown. My phone is public, 860-913-6524. My email is suzette.dbrown@yahoo.com. Questions and concerns. If there's people out there that have heard some of the crazy, come to me. Let me tell it. Can't nobody tell it like I can tell it. And I'm not ashamed to tell it. Let me tell my own story. And look at my record. It's important then when we run, especially as women, that you check the record. Check how I have showed up. Check how I have championed and or advocated for. And judge me on those things, not on someone's thoughts or opinions or feelings, because those things are fleeting. It's important for us in this political sphere as people of color to get a little bit more educated about who's running, what their platform is, what their record is. We need to be a more engaged people so that we can be a more informed people. So that's all I would ask. Help and to spread the word and to get the vote out.
Absolutely. Mayor DeBeetham Brown, there is, again, you've been holding it down on several ways, and we just appreciate your leadership. We appreciate how you have just, stand in the gap when no one else would do it. And so we appreciate how you have just pushed forward. How can, very specifically, if you want to just take some time to speak to row A, what are the priorities for row A? What can people look forward to when you all take this win on Tuesday?
So it's in Bloomfield, where the 2020 census is, we are 63% people of color. 57% of those are Black people. We have come through 2 just treacherous years, right? We had the COVID-19 pandemic and we had racial uprising. We've learned some things, that our people were dying because we were underinsured or uninsured. We made relationships with hospitals to say, come here. We need help here. We shouldn't have to go over there. We need you to come here and take care of us. We had racial tension where we said, not here in Bloomfield, because Black lives matter. All lives matter. But if it's my house on fire, I need the fire truck coming to my house. So we were very intentional on putting that out. Going forward, we want to expand those relationships. We want to make sure that we still have community health workers going into our communities, finding out what our residents need, and make sure that we have the relationships with, whether it's Trinity Hospital or Hartford Hospital, to take care of our our physical needs, right? We need to make sure that we have sustainable economic growth here in the town of Bloomfield. We need to make sure that we have economic revitalization here in the town of Bloomfield. We are looking at a 20th century library system. We're looking to tear down and build back a library in the center of town while expanding a library by 50%. But we also need to make sure that some of that work goes to minority contractors who either live in town or who work in town, and make sure that the language is specific, because in my past life, I was a minority contractor. So I understand that white women are considered minority contractors. So the language needs to change, right? We need to talk about ethnic minority contractors to make sure that the people that we're trying to support are truly supported. We need to make sure that our students have different pathways to be competitive and successful. There needs to be a bridge, whether it's college, a 4-year college, a 2-year college, whether it's the armed services, whether it's a union, whether it's a trade. We need to make sure that we have those relationships and those pathways open so that our children can be competitive and successful. And I'm not just talking about those who are juniors and seniors in college. I'm talking about little Timmy who graduated from college and still does not know exactly what he wants to do. We need to make sure that there are programs for him as well, so that he is not caught in that net of our young men being wayward. We need to make sure that after we've come through this 2 years of pandemic, we're on the downslope. We hope and pray that no other variant come up, but that we have some mental health options available to our residents to make sure that they can talk out some of the trauma that they've experienced during this COVID pandemic. So we need to look at economical sustainability and vitality. We need to look at community health, mental, emotional, spiritual, and physical. We need to look at our young people and how we can provide services to them. There's a lot that has been accomplished in the last 4 years, but there's so much more to be accomplished. And if we are at the point where we're just looking out of our own window, it won't work. We have to turn the corner and make sure that we're looking out of the windows of every single resident here in the town of Bloomfield, making sure that everything has an equity lens, that everything has an inclusion lens, that all our residents feel needed, seen, and supported in the nicest town to live, work, and play.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Madam Mayor.
Thank you.
We appreciate you being here and
Thank you.
not giving up and being persistent and getting in, because we
Thank
needed to hear you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for creating this space.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Have a good
And
night.
we don't want the legislators to leave, because we have one final ask of you. But before then, we want to make sure we get the names of some of the, or all of the candidates who have stopped by, who said yes to this experience. Do you have the
Sure.
information?
So running for town council is in Vernon is Nicola Chambers. We're just shouting out Black women.
Yes.
Can we just do that? We're just shouting out some Black women, right?
So, and I'm going to follow up with that because I live in Vernon. And so I need everyone on here. It has been an uphill battle. We all know Dan Champagne has had this town on lock. And it's time to change it. It's time to change it up. And so I'm asking, if you know someone who lives in Vernon, I'm going to ask you right now to text them. Text them, email them, pick up the phone and call them and tell them about row A and looking at changing this game. We need to ensure that Jesse Skolnick's team that is inclusive of Nicola Chambers Holder, who is running for town council, will be successful on Tuesday. So please, I'm begging, honestly, for us to show up, because there's been low voter turnout and we need to make sure all voices are heard, and we need to flip the script on Tuesday in Vernon.
All right. We're not going to be able to get everybody in on this, but we certainly want to shout out a few more of our Black women that are running. Carol Blanks in West Hartford. She's running for town council. Tracy Patterson. She's running for Board of Ed in Manchester, Sister Sonia Wilkes or Jilks. She's running in Meriden, right? And I think we got somebody in. Oh, I'm blanking on her name. Oh, don't come on, my Sister Jeanette White Blackwell. She's running in for council in Middletown. So here, I call her name and she jump on. Sister Sonia, come on in here right quick and greet folk real quick. The Lord is helping us. Come on in, Sister Sonia. There you go.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Talk on it.
How are you?
How are you?
I'm good. I'm actually in the middle of shoe sorting. I'm still moving.
So just tell us, you're out there on the campaign trail. Just give us 1 minute. What can folks do to support your candidacy?
So I am actually not up for election. I still have 2 years on my term.
Okay.
However, as the majority leader of the city council, I am in constant attack. Particularly right now since we're in election, because they're hoping by hurting me they can unseat some of our candidates that are running. And it's unfortunate because a lot of what they're attacking us about are issues of police accountability, and really, trying to make our city more equitable, whether it be through hiring, in City Hall, or whether it be through, trying to make sure the educational system is working for our kids. Our district is 70% Black and brown. And so we're really trying to get people who look like they represent the population of folks that we are, serving, to really be a voice for them. And I've been called a racist and just a ton of other stuff. And it's, it's a little nerve wracking because I'm a mom, and I have a couple kids that are in the school districts, but, we just really want to try and make sure that we get people that are serving for the right reason and really representing our city and the people that we serve. So that's all I got. Just trying to hang in here. Hopefully tomorrow, our last day of push, will get us to some success for Tuesday. And we just want people to come out and vote. We need to get people out to vote.
Yes.
I got to jump in real quick because Sonia was my legislative clerk and my aide for the committee that I serve at the State House. I can't even begin to tell you how proud I am of this Black woman, all Black women, but this one in particular. And she's being really humble tonight because Sonia has actually made history in the town of Meriden. She is the first Black woman to serve in leadership, the most powerful seat in that city. So I just want us to give her a round of applause for that. And this is why what we're doing is so important, because of the kind of attack she's under. It's a shame that we're still talking about first in 2021, but what's even more shameful is what we're subjected to as Black women in leadership in 2021. So we got a lot of work to do, but we are here. We are creating a hedge of protection and a support system for Black women, because as Black women that are serving, and I mean, 2 of the most powerful Black women senators in the state can attest to this. We've been through and still going through. But what has gotten me through is the support of, both these senators. And I just want to pay it forward. And that's what I attempt to do with Sonia and so many other Black women coming behind her. We are building that bench for real. And it's so important that we remember to support them and to be there for them and to show up for them. That's the other thing. We've got to show up. Thank you. Love you, Sonia.
Thank you, guys. I love you. You and Senator Moore.
As well. Sonia, I want to say, this is Pat, and I want to say I'm proud of you also. And just hang in there, because if we've all heard what a lot of the Black women that are in leadership and running said, is that it's a space where you feel alone and you need support. That is so important. I've been at this for 12, 13 years, and I still need the support of my sisters, because sometimes there are things that happen that only your sisters understand what you're saying. And so, Sonia, you have our phone numbers. Call us up, because, and not only that, what is important is that the support, but make sure that that circle is a closed circle where you're not gossiping about your sister. You're there to support her and give her the backbone that she needs. And we've heard standing in the gap. And I just find that that is so important, because I know running my races, this last race, running as a senator, I felt alone. I didn't have my sisters behind me. And so it is so very, very important that we support each other and be there for one another. And as our PAC is doing, we're trying to build a bench. We're trying to build the bench, and it's not an easy place to be in. So Sonia, you hang in there, and just remember, our ancestors, they went through it. We're going to go through it. Our children are going to go through it, and we just have to stay the course. So God bless you, and you know you have our support.
Thank you. Thank you for that. And I just wanted to also say it is important that we do, work together, that we do connect our work, and that we do stand with each other, and that we do face the thing that is very countercultural. And it is something that if we don't do it, we endanger all of what we do. We've heard many of our Black women talk about how difficult it is after you get into office to be there, the work itself, and then the attacks that come, and you have nobody to lean on, or precious few people that can help you with that. It can discourage you. It can break you. And so again, what we're doing and coming together is very countercultural, but it is very necessary. I can't stress that there's a fight there. When you do come together, there's a fight, there's forces there, but we have to do it. We have to push past it, and we have to come together anyway, we have to do it. We cannot give up on each other. We have to be with each other. Okay, so now I know we're just like totally out of time, but I want the senators, if you don't mind, to just leave a word of wisdom with all of us. If you had one thing that you could say to us that would encourage us, inspire us, what would that be?
So I'm going to ask, before we leave, Bishop, if you end this in prayer, pray for all the candidates, please, for their safety and everything that God would have them, that you do that. And I just want to say, Senator Miller said something that really touched me. Black women, don't tear down Black women. Don't feed into that narrative. Don't say one negative thing about another Black sister, because people take that and run, and that's a weakness that we have. So Pat, I'm glad you said that, because that does more harm than a vote, because that spreads like fire, and many times can make the difference in someone winning or losing. So let's not talk about one another. Let's talk to each other about anything we may have in the way of a difference or a disagreement or what we feel about. And let's not talk about stuff that doesn't mean anything. Let's talk about the work. I heard Mayor Suzette Beetham Brown talk about what she's doing. Let's focus on the work that we do and not our personalities, right? Not the color of our skin, what our hair looks like. Let's talk about us as workers who are always there, standing in the gap, doing the work. Let's focus on that, and we will all be winners, because we do the work all of the time. So thank you. And I so much appreciate being here tonight. I met so many new people that I didn't know about. What we're missing is this network of who's Black elected in Connecticut. We don't even know who they are. So we have to work on bringing those women together, because they're the ones that are going to have to train other generations and other women and talk about what it's really like. Because A white woman's story as elected is not the same as a Black woman, and the journey is not the same. So they need to hear from Black elected women what it's like when you're the only one, when you're the first one, and when people are trying to always take it away from you, but never having to lift you up. So we need to stay focused on that. So I'm so appreciative of being here tonight. It's time well spent. Thank you.
Thank you.
Senator Miller.
Thank you. Thank you, Senator Moore, for those words. Someone told me when I was running for as a state rep, a city rep who had been in the seat for years, she said something to me because I was complaining to someone, and apparently it got back about how bad things were. I didn't know what I was doing. And she said to me, I don't care how bad things are, you always say things are great. You always say that things are going well. They may not be going well, but you say that things are going well. And that helped me because it helped me psychologically and emotionally that no matter how bad things were, I knew that things were going to get better. And that's what I would like to put out there. Those are the words of wisdom that I would like to pass on, is that no matter how bad things look, always look at the positive of it, that things will get better. My first campaign, I self-managed because I was sabotaged. And so things do get better, and those words help me, no matter how bad they look. And I tell people this all the time, walk by faith and not by sight. Thank you.
Amen.
Faith is in the house. Faith is in the house. Reporter, you got one last word?
That's just the truth.
That's the truth, boy. Walk by faith and not by sight.
Amen, amen. And that came straight from the minister, Minister Miller. Another hat she wears, tremendous woman of God. As someone that suffered from imposter syndrome, what I would say to all the candidates running, you are more than enough. Many are called, but few are chosen. Know that you have been chosen for such a time as this. And as the good senator just said, no matter how bad it looks, because it looked bad, I had 5 people running in the race. 4 from New Haven, 1 from Hampden. And the formidable foe was considered the one in Hampden because she had been a councilwoman at large for 8 years at the time I was running. And frankly, you know, the grassroots that I was doing didn't sum up to much because they coined me, you know, the native New Yorker, the person that wasn't from Connecticut. So I just want women, our Black women, to just stand on faith, you know, stand in their truth unapologetically, and know that at the end, whatever it is that God has for you is going to be done. And you don't always win the first time out the gate, but you know what? We keep trying till we get there. And I'm wishing every single woman running tonight the best, the very best. God's speed, God's blessing, and his covering. As Senator Moore said, I'm looking forward to this prayer, Bishop, because that is the one thing that I do believe keeps us, is the prayers, the fervent, effectual prayers of God's people, of his warriors. So I'll close on that note and open the floor to you as you pray us out and just wish all our candidates and elected women running for re-election all the best on Tuesday.
Bishop, before you go into your prayer, Bishop, can I just continue with what you were doing, shouting out the women who are on the ballot who weren't able to join us tonight? Robin brought up Hampden. There are several women in Hampden. Karima Mickens Weber, who's running for town clerk. Dominique Baez, who's running for legislative council at large in Hampden. One of the legislative council, Paula Irvin, is also on the ballot. And for Board of Education, Dr. Siobhan Carter-David in Hampden. In Windsor, you have Ayanna Taylor running for Board of Education, Nushet Black Burke, who's running for town council in Windsor. In New Britain, you have Dr. Violet Sims running for Board of Education. And you have several other Black women, Annie Parker, who's also in Britain running as well. So I just wanted to just shout them out. Those were just some that were on the top of my head. I was like, I hope I can get this in before Bishop takes us into prayer. We want to call those names out, put them out there so people know. And again, I just have to say tonight, I knew that this was going to be exactly what it was. It was going to be a space of love. It's going to be a space where we center Black women unapologetically. We're going to speak life into us coming together, unified, working together in solidarity to build up Black women's power in Connecticut. And I'm just so thankful to be a part of this space. And I really appreciate the leadership of Lady Selders in CT Black Women, really, reminding us of the power that we have. So I appreciate you and Bishop for creating this space.
And real quick, First Lady, you mentioned Karima. Karima will make history. Karima will be the first Black woman to be town clerk in the town of Hampden. So we got a lot of historical movements going on and a lot of things that we really should be proud of at this time. So I just
All right.
And I just wanted to, just one more person that I can think of is Sabrina Wilson. She's an incumbent, but she's running out of East Hartford.
Right. There are Black women running in Norwalk. There's Black women in New London, Waterbury, and Groton.
Wow.
Black women are running all over this state.
That's a beautiful
all
thing.
over this state, and so there's no excuse. You need to find somebody that you like.
Right. You need to find the closest. If there's not one in your town, find the closest one. I'm gonna use our CTBW sister Janae Woods Weber said, find the closest one who lives closest to you and support them if they don't live in your town.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. I believe at the end of the day, the battle, while we are faithful to it, is not ours. Mm-hmm. There's some spirit work that's going on, and so the weapons of our warfare, of our struggle, they are mighty through God, to the pulling down of all of this. I like what the mayor said, politics. All this politics, in the end, they won't win. You women who are here, who are serving in office, are a true testament and our inspiration. And so we thank you, Senator Moore, Senator Miller, and Rep. Porter. You are our champions. You are leading us in this struggle. And really, Rep. Porter, you gave the benediction. So for all that is good and that is holy, for all that is right, that is just, for all that is loving, for all that is caring and full of compassion. God, we thank you for this opportunity to be vessels, to be used in the way that you use us. So as we depart from this space and place, we've been holding space for Black women. Bless every campaign, bless every candidacy, bless every candidate, God, that they learn what they need to learn, that they do what it is that you would have them do in these spaces and places, and the enemy and that the enemy won't ultimately win and prevail. Thank you that we have victory. We have victory in you. In the names of that we call you, God, we thank you. We pray. Amen. Blessings to everybody. We'll see you at the polls on Tuesday. Tuesday at the polls.
Amen.
Appreciate all that you do.
We out of here. We out of here.
Thank you. We love you.
Love you. Peace.
We're gonna get together.
Yes, definitely. Yes. United we stand.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Amen.
Amen.